And are we live? We should be live. Okay, now we're definitely live. All right, so hi, welcome. I just gave a good 2-minute spiel about what we are doing, and only the people who are over on Twitch saw that because I forgot to hit the go live button once I hit the start streaming button. But welcome. Welcome. I see you guys have been hanging out waiting for this. I am streaming a little bit later than I usually would. And that is just because I had to get some stuff organized because I decided today that I wanted to do an airport CEO stream. The reason is mostly because Stardew Valley is going to be a very long series, and I feel like if I don't have another series going on in the background, then I'm going to burn out on Stardew a little bit. So I hope you guys are okay with that. If you guys could let me know how everything sounds, how everything looks, that would be very much appreciated. But yeah, we're going to be playing Airport CEO today, and it's going to be a little bit different to the previous playthrough that we did on the channel. And that is mainly because of one reason. I don't like that I can't zoom out and see my entire airport. So we are going to be building the airport in such a way that I can zoom out and see the entire thing. We'll have some empty space around the edge, and that's going to be how that works. So that's the plan. I'm also not going to be playing on extreme mode like I did in the last one, just because a lot of the events feel a little bit too micromanaging for my playstyle, and I just don't want to do that. So I'm going to let people filter in for the next couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, thoughts, feelings, please do go ahead and let me know. Say hi in chat if you are around, and we'll get on with it in just a little bit. But yeah, it should be fun. Have you guys played Airport CEO before? Are you brand new? Did you watch the old series? Let me know all of the things. Yeah, that's the plan. Airport CEO, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my guy. I did want to go with this hairstyle, but I didn't like the mustache, so we are going with this hairstyle instead. You never really see this guy anyway, so I think it's going to be absolutely fine. I think it's going to be fine. Alright, we'll give it a couple more minutes here. I'll have a nice little drink. And we're in for a fun time. I do like starting a new game. I like it a lot. But what is happening with you guys? What is going on, everybody? We'll probably get started in maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and we'll jump in and start planning our beautiful regional airport that will be Bamboo Point Airport. BPA for short. I think it's going to be a good time. Alright, let's get into it. I'm going to ignore chat for just a second as I do the intro to the YouTube video. I hope you guys don't mind. I hope you understand. And Jack Hull, never caught a stream. Been watching since Software Inc. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was just saying I'm going to ignore chat for a minute, but then you sent a message, so that's the last one, probably. We are going to jump in and let's get this YouTube intro done, and then we can catch up and chat. All right. Deep breaths. It always makes me nervous doing an intro for a new series, but let's do it. Hello and welcome to Airport CEO and what will eventually be Bamboo Point Airport. This is ChubbyPanda. This is my character. You'll probably never see him again, but that is absolutely okay. In terms of where we're starting, we're going to start in Australia. Parks seems like a reasonable place to start. I don't think they have a major airport, but you know, it is what it is. It's a little mining town for those of you who are curious. And the reason I'm starting somewhere less prominent than like Melbourne or Sydney, if I can find Sydney, it's over here somewhere, is because I plan on doing a more regional airport this time. So we are going to launch it. This will be Bamboo Point Airport and, of course, BPA for short. In terms of our logo, honestly, it doesn't really matter all that much. But let's go for that. Nice little country vibes. I think that'll be good. Now, we are going to play on sandbox, but we're not going to do full sandbox. We still want to play with funds. We still want the economy simulation. We still want construction simulation. We don't want all projects unlocked. We don't want... well, actually, no, we do want all areas unlocked. Unlimited flights is going to be off. Emergencies are going to be disabled just because when I was playing in my last series, I found that they were very micromanagey and they really didn't add all that much to the game. And we'll leave animals on. I think that is going to be absolutely fine. We're also going to play on the large map. And let's go for difficult. I think starting with $1 million is absolutely fine. I've shown you how to start with extreme mode before. If you missed that playthrough, go ahead and check that out. I'm sure I'll leave a link somewhere. But that is going to be our settings, and we are going to launch straight into the game. Now, one of my least favorite things about this game is the fact that you can't zoom out and see your entire airport. So, in order to, sort of fight that a little bit, I am going to only build within the confines that I can zoom out. So this, are we paused? Yes, we are paused. This is going to be basically the size of my airport. We have much more room if we want it eventually, but that's not what I'm going to do, right? And I know I chose large airport and that probably wasn't really necessary considering that I'm doing this in this little area here, but that's how I decided to do. And we are going to follow the introduction okay, I didn't want the introduction, I wanted the tutorial, but that is okay. This is going to run us through everything. This is the management panel. This is the economy tab where we can see all of our money and things. This is our operations tab. And that's about it. So I'm just going to press next a whole bunch of times and it will give us the tutorial. Now, the reason that I'm playing with the tutorial is because once you get to a certain point in it, you get a nice little cash boost, and that is always nice. I will probably just hide it for a little bit here while we set things up and while we plan, but that is going to be the main point. Now, the very first thing that I would like to do is go in here and say flooring, light concrete. No, that's got to be in a terminal. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to the controls again, but that is okay. Concrete tile, this is in planning mode, and I would like to just quickly draw a box, basically. And that is going to go right up to probably about there. And that didn't draw. Fantastic. We're going to try and get centered here and start about there. Come all the way up to about there, I believe it was. Bring that all the way back over to the other side. Somewhere about one in, maybe around there. That went up a little one and come down to there. That is going to be the size of my airport. And you can see we have much more room if we want to add like little random things around the edge. I think that'll be okay. But that is going to be where I build the vast majority of my things. That is because I like to zoom out and see the whole thing. And we can't do that otherwise. And also, can I not bulldoze this? Yes, I can. It just failed. Perfect. Nope, not perfect. Give me the bulldozer tool. Bulldoze that part of the plane. All right, that is going to be the confines of our airport. So, without further ado, we are probably going to jump into a little bit of a time lapse in the YouTube video, and we're going to lay out some groundwork, figure out how we want to plan this thing out, and go from there. All right, now I can talk to chat. Adam Thomas, welcome back. I will ignore you a little bit. Started watching with RimWorld. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming by. All right, so airport CEO, right? We have to build an airport. And yes, we could follow this and just get all of the things that it says to do, but I like to plan out a little bit before that. All right, this is going to be in the YouTube video again. Before we start with anything, I would like to move this ugly road entrance from here to somewhere that is a little bit more nondescript. And that is honestly probably going to be off of our main airport so that we can't actually see it. To do that, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab myself the world entrance tunnel. It is going to live right about there. we'll come in and we'll grab ourselves a contractor site and a delivery site. That can go there, and our delivery site can go there. And then we can simply grab a public road of the asphalt variety, draw that in there, and call that good. Actually, what we can do is go ahead and bulldoze those plans because we won't actually be able to build them. And then we can go ahead and bulldoze. I forget the B isn't the bulldoze button. It's not a button either. Okay, get rid of those. Get rid of all of that. And then, now that we don't have any access to this, we can go back in to our infrastructure tab, grab ourselves the public road, draw that in, and it will be built immediately because we don't have access to any contractors. Right? That's just sort of how that works. Now, I realize at some point I unpause the game. I'm going to pause it right on 10 a.m. just so that it's a nice time. But we now have a nice blank canvas to get everything done. Fantastic. All right, let's go into our planning mode and figure out what we can and can't do. In terms of aircraft infrastructure, we're going to only have access to small runways at the moment. And that is, you know, that's okay because we don't have all that much room. In terms of where these are going to live, I think I would like some general aviation on the very edge. So let's go in and grab ourselves some aircraft stands and throw these over on the side. Now, the aircraft are going to come out of the right, so that is fine. We need to make sure that we leave enough room for a road and things. But we should be able to just go ahead and plop that, I don't know, right about there, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, and then we can build our taxiways off of that. So our small runway would come in somewhere like so. In terms of taxiways for our small aircraft, we only need about 5 width to get by, so that is absolutely fine. But yeah, let's zoom out and see how this actually looks. If we put this all the way down at the bottom, that's probably going to get in the way of things, but if we bring it up a little bit and we leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think that'll be enough room to get everything done. And then we're obviously going to need some ramps as well. Now, for now, we're probably only going to be using the standard ones just because, you know, we don't have all that much access to anything else. And then that leaves a taxiway of 5 in between, which is more than enough for the small aircraft to get through. And then my general plan is to have runways running next to each other, going in the same direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll leave a 5 gap so that we have nice amount of clearance. And we can basically mirror that on the other side once we get to that. This is going to be for our passenger planes. This is going to be for our general aviation starting out. That's my general idea. And then we can just simply have taxiways connecting all of this up, right? And for now, we only need to make them 1 wide, save ourselves a little bit of money, but eventually we will expand them out. And of course, this needs to connect up so that they can obviously land and come back down, right? That's the general plan. They may get a little bit stuck up here, but I think that for the most part will be an okay-ish plan. I think. So let's recreate that on the other side just so that I have it and that so that everything is nice and even. That is 3 out and like there. All right, let's just scooch this all the way over, making sure that I don't move my mouse up and down. And that is 3 out. We'll go 1, 2, nope. Bulldoze tool, bulldoze. Grab ourselves our stands again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab ourselves our small runway. And I don't remember how many away that was. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away. And in line with that line there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I kind of want to spin this around so that this one's going the opposite direction. I don't know if that's realistic, but that is kind of what I want to do. And then we can come back in with our taxiway foundations. Actually, no, we need our runway ramps first. So let's get that hooked up there. That hooked up there. And then our taxiway foundation can come out straight down the middle and connect all of these up to their appropriate runway. And that should work out quite nicely. Now, we don't have any taxiway paths yet, but that is okay. We're just in the planning stages at the moment. All right. That's where we're going to start, and then we're going to leave this room in the middle for, you know, terminals and all of that stuff. But at this point, we can probably start going through the tutorial. And because our construction is over here, I think it's probably a good idea to start on this side. So what we need is building tools. We need to say, go ahead and build planned objects. I'm going to build all of that, all of this taxiway, both of these, and this singular runway. And that should be more than enough to get started. But no one is going to do anything yet because we currently don't have any construction people, right? And we need to sign a contract to hire them. So in order to do that, we go into sign contract, which is in economy and offered contracts. And you'll see we have two here. These guys are offering us 118 maximum contractors for $5.20 an hour. These guys are offering us 90 for $7.80. Now, clearly, Brickley is a much better deal. So we are going to sign that deal. We don't have to take all of those contractors at any given time. We can say either give us the max, the minimum, or we can, you know, lower this as we see fit. I'm going to say let's go for like 80 to start with. I think that's going to be more than enough. We can deploy them, and now we have contractors coming and delivering goods, starting to build this out. So if we go into H, you can see we have now, you know, deployed our contractors. It's still telling us to do that, but we have definitely done that. If we do that, we can deploy one more, and that should... No. Okay. Once we unpause time... Yeah, there we go. It's finally clicked that it's happened. All right, now we need to get our first general aviation flights. This is basically what we've set up already. We've got five airport stands, a runway, and some taxiways. The only thing we are currently missing is our taxiway paths, and we can go ahead and throw those in. So we can go something like, if I can get it to work, something like that, and we should be able to do this diagonally, but they may have to build this first. I thought I had diagonal things enabled, but maybe I don't. So that's all right. We'll just keep them straight and call that good to go. So they are going to come straight up and down this way, go into their runway, and that should be good to go. Perfect. That is all set up and should be running. Our airport runway is officially complete. We can now go ahead and say we are opening said runway once those are done. But of course, we still need an ATC tower. We only have one available to us, and that is absolutely okay. I think for the moment, a good spot to put this would be at the very end of our taxiway. Just to be able to keep an eye on everything that is currently going on. We're going to get more of these later on, but for now, I think that can live right about there. We'll wait for our contractors to build that, and that should be good. We need to make sure that these are set to be, you know, used by general aviation, and I believe that they are, so that should be fantastic. We've completed that step. We've completed the ATC. We now have a small airfield. We need to go into our dashboard and into our operations tab, and we can open the airport, and we can say allow general aviation. That should be everything we need to do. Click on this, make sure our runway is open, and that is good. Now we just need to wait for 5 general aviation planes to land. You can see they come in, they'll take a stand, and they'll do all of their things. Our airport is officially up and running. I am recording while I'm doing the live stream. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is going to be a new series concurrent to Stardew Valley. We aren't getting rid of it, but I just felt like it was time to put something else in there. And I also completely forgot to connect up these stands to, you know, to this. So let's go ahead and do that. I swear I had it enabled that I could do diagonal things, but I guess I was wrong. Taxiway improvements. Smooth diagonals is enabled. Oh, you know why? It's because I didn't build things. Okay, that's fine. Do I do the live here only on YouTube? No, I do not. I am also live on Twitch. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead and type !Twitch in chat. I just did it for you, and you can check it out over there. Logan, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're live on Twitch as well. ChubbyPanda, if that link doesn't come up, there it is. And you can go check that out if you'd like to. But yeah, we officially have an open airport with general aviation, and they should be free to take off and land whenever they feel like it. They'll slowly all come in. This guy is coming from Bamboo Point Airport, which is us, to Lismore Airport over in Lismore. A little short flight, 3 hours and 53 minutes. That actually seems wrong. That flight should not be that long, but that's okay. Just thinking about buying this game, I would recommend it. It can be a little bit of a learning curve, but of course there is always my extreme playthrough if you want to, you know, get a little bit of a head start. I recommend it. It's a good game. There are definitely some bugs and quirks that you have to deal with, but overall, I really quite enjoy it. So let's speed up time, get these 5 general aviation flights to land, and then we can move on from there. What do you mean by heavy? Logan, you bought the game after my first series. Have you been playing it much? It's an in-depth game. Oh, any machine should be able to run this, I would say. It can get a little bit heavy once you've got a lot of passengers, but you can limit the amount of passengers you have in your airport. So you should be able to run it on pretty much anything. All right, and our general aviation flights have all landed. And now it is asking us to place at least one fence gate to make it easier for contractors to pass certain areas of our airfield. Do we really need a fence at this point? No, but you know, it's asking us to. So let's grab ourselves a fence gate. I'm going to put that probably in here, just because we will eventually have a fence around this area. And that considers that quest done. So we will do that. All right. Congratulations on your first functional airport. The GA pilots are enjoying your airport, but some are concerned about the lack of aircraft refueling services. So that's the next thing that we need to do, right? We can now start refueling planes. We need to place a vehicle checkpoint to connect vehicle and service roads. And honestly, at the very start here, while we don't have too much of a plan, I think that is going to end up just sort of living up here. If we have it this way, we can have that line up something like this, maybe? Yeah, that should work. Put it right there. It's going to block some of our stuff, but I think that is okay. And then we can just grab ourselves a public road that comes out straight like this and connects up to this world entrance over here. And then we can have our service road. That can just be grass for the moment. That can run straight into this. That'll mean they have access to all of this. Now we need a vehicle depot or a service vehicle parking lot. And that is going to be under this same tab, I believe. We have bus stop, bus shelters. Okay, no, it's not. Of course it's not. Where is the vehicle depot? There it is. Vehicle depot is there. Or we have the service vehicle parking lot. Because this is going to be all grass, I'm okay with this just being that one for now. And we can call that good. We'll grab ourselves our service road and make sure that is all connected. And then we need a small avgas 100LL fuel depot and wait for all the structures to be built. So come into aircraft infrastructure, fuel depot, and we'll get the small avgas and throw that down right about, yeah, sure. It can live right there for the moment. This will probably all get moved later on, but that is absolutely okay. Now we just need to wait for them to build all of that. You can see we are also currently losing quite a lot of money, but we should be able to turn that around very, very soon. I'm afraid that when I buy the game and start playing, I get bored. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you can always buy it, play it for 2 hours and refund it if you don't like it. Kept you busy for a while. The terminal is going to go right in the middle over here. Yeah, exactly. Play for 5 hours, build a big city, get bored, and wait 3 months to play it again. That's just how I like to play games, generally. But let's speed up time a little bit and get this done just that little bit quicker. It has a lot of depth, and I feel like there's not a lot of games that can really do the airport simulation as well as this game does. I do wish it was 3D, and I do wish the graphics were a little bit better, but that is what it is. Alright, great. We are almost ready to offer Avgas 100 LL refueling service. All we need to do now is purchase a fuel truck and sign a contract with an aviation fuel supplier. So, to go ahead and do that, we need to go into vehicles, we need to go into purchase vehicles, and there is only one available, so this makes that very, very easy. This is going to cost us $1,500 up front and then $50 an hour after that. We are going to order that, and then we can come back into our economy tab, go to offered contracts, and look at our fuel contracts. If you're confused which ones are fuel contracts, you can always go ahead and filter in here. We currently have two. We have Nature Fuel, which is offering us avgas for $1.53 per litre, or we have Avi Fuel, which is offering it for $1.51 a litre, and they're also offering Jet A1 a little bit cheaper as well. They can also deliver for 100,000 litres per delivery, where Nature Fuel can only deliver 200,000, so Avigas is probably going to be the one that we go with. With that done, we can now click next, and we have a fuel truck on its way. If we just speed time up a little bit, that should come in and park at our depot after filling up. That's actually not ours. Alright, and there we go. And we have wait for your fuel truck to refuel at the fuel depot. This is our fuel truck coming in now. Why didn't they go in? Where are they going? You coming in, or there you go. So they'll come in, they'll fill up at the Avgas fuel depot. That is now done, and we can go ahead and press tab, go to our operations and say enable Avgas 100 LL fuel services. We are now able to refuel any general aviation flights that come to our airport. And with that, we are going to let the game run for a little bit again as we wait to refuel 5 of these aircraft. What are we doing? Is this game $25 US? That's actually a little bit ridiculous. City Skylines 2, I'm tempted to start it again. It hit me a little bit with the release. The release was not good, but I am tempted. Battlefield 6 you'll probably never see on this channel. There are so many people making content on it. I am not good at shooters, and I generally just don't have the audience for it, but I appreciate the suggestion. You wish this game was bigger? I kind of do too. There are parts of this game that feel a little bit small. Okay, can't advance with aircraft in motion, but you can build a pretty large airport. The game has a tutorial. No limited time to do everything. You can do everything at your own pace. Yeah, they did stop development. I really am looking forward to the next big airport management game. I think it's going to be good. I don't know of any on the horizon, but that would be nice to see. Waiting for Christmas discounts? That's smart. And you can see here, we also have a broken runway. That is because every now and then we have to repair our things. Runway condition is currently 70%. We don't have to worry about this for too long because we will eventually hire someone to take care of this for us. But for right now, we can just press this button and repair it manually. You can see we are now losing less money. And as we come into the next day here, we should see that number go up quite dramatically. The other thing we could do to potentially speed up that growth is, say, build a whole bunch more aircraft stands, right? More aircraft stands means we can have more aircraft landing, and more aircraft landing means more money for us. Just make sure whenever you do so that you do go ahead and actually connect them up to the runway and runway via taxiways. Otherwise, you know, they're not going anywhere at all. So we'll get all of these hooked up, and that will give us 10 general aviation stands, and we can go and do what we can with those. That should slowly bring us into the green. Perfect. All right, that is that part of the tutorial complete. I will probably just let the game run for a little bit here as we see how this handles everything. This singular runway should be able to support 10 general aviation, no problem whatsoever. There is potential that we do require an additional fuel truck, and I think that is probably a good thing to do. So I'm going to order one more of those. That'll automatically park here, and that should just run nice and smoothly. Been playing workers and resources, but I'm bad at laying out cities beyond 2k people, and I never know when to build my city. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel the exact same way. There are mods for this. They're not super game-changing. I do have a couple of the, like, just somewhat game-changing mods installed that makes things run a little bit smoother, but you can get, like, different aircraft skins, different decals, different flooring, that kind of thing. Nothing super game-changing, though. And what is happening with this aircraft? What is happening here? It's just... oh, there's an animal. There is an animal on our taxiway. And that can cause some pretty serious issues as the game goes on. Now, we do have a little bit of cash, and we have cash coming in, so it might actually behoove us to go ahead and start actually constructing our fence. So, fences are pretty easy. You just drag them around the outside, and yeah, this one already has a fence sort of built into it, so we can just skip over that. But I'm going to drag this out and all the way around. It's probably going to take our construction people quite a while to actually build this, but this will help keep animals out of our airport and get everything running nice and smoothly. So this is going to go all the way around. It's going to be somewhat expensive, but that's okay. Nice things in life sometimes are expensive, and I would like a fence around my entire airport. We do still have that access point down here with that gate, but that should slowly but surely get built. And I'm going to zoom out so that we can see the entire thing as we get this going. Yeah, it does take quite a while. It does, yeah, it does have mods, they just don't do a ton. I wish someone would make a mod where you can zoom out further than this. But that's why I'm doing this airport the way that I am, so that I can zoom out and see the entire thing all in one screen. Because, you know, screenshots are fun. When GTA 6 gets out, they will be starting. You don't feel the same way you always could in every game you record. I appreciate that. I really liked the original playthrough too. I'm excited for this one where I can focus on this smaller area. I think it's going to be really good. There is a little bit of waiting in this game, so bear in mind that we may just be watching this happen for a little bit, but that's okay. They're slowly but surely working on that fence. They're not the fastest workers in the world. Gives me time to have a drink and catch up with chat. You guys are very active today, and I very much appreciate that. If you would like to support the channel a little bit further, if you want to open us up on Twitch as well, that really helps out. And that would be fantastic. Even if you just have it open in a different tab, because Twitch recommends us based on how many people are watching. Although I don't actually think anyone else is streaming Airport CEO on Twitch right now, so maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know how much of a viewership there is over there for that, but we'll see, I guess. They're still working on the fence, by the way. Not a lot of people upload this game much anymore. No, but I mean, there hasn't been an update in a while, so it sort of makes sense. I saw Conflict Nerd did his last series on this not too long ago. I wish I just don't got Twitch. That's fair. It's mostly, from what I can tell, BF6, GTA 5, and City Skylines 2. I mean, that's just your algorithm. People are uploading other things for sure. Yeah, there is a category for this on Twitch. No one's currently in it, but I saw a stream that was like 7 days ago that had like 1,000 views, so maybe every now and then someone streams on it. I mean, I'm streaming on it now, so it must happen every now and then. I should probably also move chat so that you guys aren't over the UI. That's probably a little bit better. Is the fence finished? No. I think they're still working down the bottom here. Oh, they're getting there. It is sad that there's no more updates. Summer has officially arrived. I feel like this game has a little bit of a cult following. A fan version of this game would be fantastic, or just another more modernized airport manager that goes into the same depth would be fantastic. I would 100% play that. I actually have flown a plane too, so that's the thing. My wife got me a 2-hour plane ride where I was the pilot for 2 hours for my 30th birthday, and that was a very fun experience. What made you want to start streaming this again? Mostly the fact that the original series got like 200,000 views, and the Stardew Valley series isn't doing super well. I mean, it's doing fine, but you know, I gotta pay those bills. And I like the game. I felt like coming back to it for a little while now, so I figured we would. I'm not a licensed pilot, but I have flown a plane. It was like one of the like lesson things, so I had like a 2-hour lesson, and I have flown a plane, landed a plane, and I would recommend it to anyone who can do that. It was a very cool experience. I mean, I gotta pay bills. I got bills to pay. You know, that's just how it is. All right, with that fence built, we should now have less of a problem with animals. There may still be some in here. They should eventually die out. That's the plan. But we can now start thinking about the other parts of our airport. Or we could continue this and expand it over to the other side. I think for now, I'd like to pause the game. Actually, I'm just going to wait till daylight so that I can see a little bit better. I'll pause the game and we'll go into a little bit of a design montage of getting this terminal situation laid out. My general plan is terminal down here, medium runway in the middle if it'll fit, eventually once we've researched that, and go from there. You started watching me because of this game? I appreciate that. I think you could still take a lesson. I don't know if you could get your license, but you might still be able to take a lesson. Alright, I'm going to pause this right on 8 a.m. if I can. There he is. And let's start designing out this terminal. So we need a terminal that is at least 20 by 15. We are going to plan a lot bigger than that, but we probably won't be able to build a whole lot bigger than that with the current funds that we have available. So, terminal foundation. How do we want this to look? I think I would like terminal. Well, we're going to need a whole bunch of space over here for our stands and things. So let's plan that out first. We grab our aircraft stands. They'll face that way. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to put this up a little bit higher. And that will be like our first 3 stands there. Spin that around. This can all be a time lapse, by the way, Stefan. And then we'll come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Terminals in there. Then we'll grab ourselves our terminal foundation, and we'll need a waiting area for these people. Something like we do that. That's probably a decent start. Right. They don't line up. They don't line up at all. Now they line up. There is a wall in the middle there that I don't like, but we can fix that up later on. And then in terms of the terminal for the back, that is going to be elevated, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And realistically, we're just going to be focusing on this side for now. We would also like to have some sort of car park, public parking lot, probably somewhere in the middle. So let's grab our terminal building just so that this gives us a measurement. That is 52. So if we go 25, 26, that should in theory be the middle. That is 26 to there and 26 to there. So that's the middle of our airport. Grab our, actually, I'm going to change that and grab myself some concrete tile and just put that down there so that I can see where the middle is. And then we can demolish all of that. Grab our foundation, bulldoze that, and that should be fine. Then we come into infrastructure, grab ourselves the public parking lot. And is this a centrable building? No. That's okay though, because we can put one on each side. If we do something like there and there, that'll work. Grab ourselves a public road. This is probably all going to have to move back actually, because we need a entrance tunnel first. So this world entrance tunnel will be there, but we can do it underground. We just need to get a permit for that first. Okay, let's go ahead and demolish that section of fence. Have to run the game to actually be able to do that. God, you guys are talking too much today. I can't keep up. You can get some licenses. Very hard to get medical clearance. That's fair. You could still probably do a lesson though, is what I'm saying. You wouldn't be able to actually apply for a license, but you might still be able to fly a plane one time. Parking things unaligned? Yeah, that's alright. That's alright. We figured it out. Alright, and then from there, we can go ahead and grab ourselves the world entrance tunnel. Pop that down there. That's just a plan for now, so that's fine. Grab ourselves a public parking lot and say build it there and there. Grab ourselves a public road that can go straight up there, there, and there. I'll have like a little bit of a concrete median thing going on in the middle. And then we're going to have some sort of entrance over here. I think that's generally a decent plan. Now, this is probably going to have to be built. And we will need a terminal coming out of this at some point. Question is, do we want to double these up? And the answer is probably yes. So let's grab another set of public parking lots. I'm going to separate them by one. Go up to like that. Grab ourselves the road. Build that up to about there. Whoop. Demolish that one. Grab our terminal building. And our terminal can start probably around here. Line that up. And then for right now, this is going to change later on, but we can just have like a little hallway going into that. And then we just need to come in and demolish any of the walls that are not actually on the outside of the building. Right? Get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. And that should function as a terminal. The only question is it big enough? This wants 25 by 15. And it says that it does. So that's good. The only problem is I didn't leave room for bus stops and things, which is a problem. Let's go ahead and get rid of these two for the moment. Let's put the bus stops up near the entrance. I think that's probably a decent idea. Grab infrastructure. Grab a car stop. And let's go ahead and put these, yeah, maybe up here. Car stop, get taxi stops on this side, and then we'll do a bus stop on either side of those. And we can come back in with the public road and just do something like that to connect everything up. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. And then we can just do sidewalk to connect all of that. Connect all of this. Not that this is particularly important right now, but, you know, we can still throw it in there. Do that. And then we just get some crosswalks. Just small ones will be fine. That one will probably not necessary. But I don't know that I can delete it without deleting other things. Yeah, no. That got rid of the road. So we'll throw that back down there. Crosswalk. This one is going to be a medium crosswalk. And I can go from there to there and there to there. And that should be everything we need to get that done. If we go back in here, this is fine. Now, it actually doesn't need you to build this. It just needs you to plan it, which is kind of crazy. Now we just need to open the heat map for, yeah, display walkable areas. Right? So currently we can't walk on any of this. But that is fine. Right? Now it's just asking us to actually construct part of this. So let's go ahead and get our building tools out and say, please build planned objects. Build that. Build all three of those. Build all of that. Build all of that. And then just build this part of the sidewalk. And that should, in theory, be functional. The only other things we need to add, of course, is our runway ramps to this runway. Grab ourselves our taxiway foundation. That is going to, again, just be one wide to save ourselves a little bit of money. And for these ones, I will just, for now, make them straight, but they will curve eventually. And then we can grab our taxiway paths, make sure they're all connected up to our actual runway. Like so. And let the game run for a little bit as they build all of that up. And we lose almost all of our money. Yeah, I would 100% recommend the lessons. It's very fun. You have to save up. Aircraft stands are out of alignment. No, are they? Are they? Okay, you might be right. You might be right. Oh, it's so hard to see, but I think you are correct. Yeah, these ones need to move up one. Okay. Get rid of you and you. And then we can grab planning mode, aircraft stand. There and there. Control. Does control not delete things anymore? There we go. Put that there. Now they line up. Beautiful. Alright, we'll let them build that. This needs to be repaired again. It's going to happen from time to time. Hopefully we're still making enough money that we can do this. We now need things like staff rooms, all of that. Honestly, for right now, a staff room can probably just live in here. We'll call that good enough. And we'll just remove that section of wall, that section of wall, that section of wall, because I would actually like the wall to be on the other side. And where are walls there? I would like the wall to actually go there, just so that they line up. This is going to be our staff room. And then we can simply say staff room in there. I hope that's big enough for now. Stefan, you actually made it to a stream. Everyone curious, Stefan is my brand new video editor, so if you've been enjoying the edits, go ahead and follow his channel, because he does stuff as well. So check him out. Plays very similar games to me in a very similar style. So if you like my content, chances are you probably will like his as well. I also need to make sure that these don't get opened for general aviation. So we need to say no general aviation on this runway. We can open it. We can't open it because this isn't built yet. But once it is available to be opened, we can open it. If I doesn't, well, I don't know. That's not my fault. Alright, we need a few office desks and any type of seating in the staff room. So let's go to staff, office desk, and these are thankfully very, very small. Let's go ahead and get, actually that wall needs to be one bigger. One more wall there. Go to staff, office desk, and let's just for now put down like 4 on either side. And then we need some seating. I would like to use couches if I can, just because they are more space efficient. And we can say something like that, that, and that. And that should be enough to satisfy our office demand for the time being. Assuming that I put the same amount of desks on each side, because that would annoy me forever. You go to the manager, go for it. Good luck getting in contact with the manager of YouTube. That's all I have to say. Alright, and then we just wait for this all to be built while I go and get myself a drink. I'll be back. Good night. Have a good one. I am back, by the way. Alright, we need to put in some flooring. That should be nice and easy to do. We just say flooring. Let's go for a nice little marble floor in our office. This will all probably change later on. And then we need some plants. Go for some medium plant. Actually, let's go for small plants because they'll fit nicely in between these couches. Something like that. And that is pretty much done. We just need to hire a couple of administrators. Now, none of this is currently operational. I'm going to pause the game for a little second here. Let's open up that runway so it's at least can connect to these. And yeah, we need to hire some staff. So we're going to go into applications. We're going to filter by administrator. And we need 2 of these. And I would like the best administrators that we can possibly get. I know that we are currently running out of money, but that's fine. So let's get you and you. And that is now done. And now we can start the commercial license project in the R&D tab. This is where we unlock absolutely everything. Now, I believe that is in operations, R&D projects, and we can click to start a new project. In order to get a commercial license, we need to first research it. It's going to take about 3 hours. Honestly, not too bad. We'll start that minimum 2. So we'll go ahead and throw both of our administrators on that. If we wanted to speed this up even more, we absolutely could. But now we just need to wait as our brand new administrators start researching that project. It's only almost midnight where you are. Do I do YouTube full time? I did for a little while, but then my wife opened up a nail salon and I learnt to do nails, and now I'm working there 3 or 4 days a week. And I just had my first $1,000 week doing nails for people where I live. So that's what I do full time. Well, I don't know. It's sort of like half this, half that. So they're both kind of side hustles, but yeah, that's what I do with my life. All right, how are they doing on this project? It is almost done. Oop, wrong button. Repair that runway. Alright, so we now have an airport. And we need to start funneling our guests into being able to use it. So we need at least 2 small check-in desks. And honestly, I think they can probably just live... That's an information desk. We need 2 check-in desks. There's only one kind that we can use. And the question is, where do we want them? Do we want them at the entrance over here? Do we want them more near our terminal? I kind of like the idea of having them just over here. I'm going to do 4 for now. I think that's fine. We also probably should consider the fact that we need a door to actually get into this airport. So let's go ahead and add ourselves a door right about there. Now we need to make a part of this terminal a secure zone. And to do that, we go into zoning, we go for secure zone, and we can pretty much just say this entire thing down here is going to be a secure zone, right? The check-in desks need to not be inside that, but that is okay. And then we need to go into our security and say security checkpoints and start getting a couple of these in. Now, it looks like we can actually place 2 of them right here, which is fantastic. But I would like them to kind of be level with the hallway. So let's just extend this out by, I think that was the amount that we needed. Did I do one too many? Yes, I did. So let's go secure zone, hold control. We can get rid of that, and then we can place these in right about there. Now, currently no one can get out of this airport, but that's okay. We can fix that by just saying, opening up this hallway that little bit more. We grab ourselves a terminal foundation, throw our terminal foundations back down in there, grab our bulldozer tool, remove most of that wall, all of this part of the wall, and do we need an extra part of that wall removed to get this in? Yes. So let's go ahead and grab bulldozer tool, remove all of that wall, and we can get this sorted. It's a slim hallway to cram security into. 100%, but we will be expanding a lot later on, so I'm not too concerned about it just now. This will work for the moment, I hope. Good night, Logan. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. So for right now, that will work as our security checkpoint. The only problem is we don't actually have any security guards, and we should probably hire some. So let's grab our staff, our applicants, look for security officers, and we are looking for the best ones that we can find. So it is going to be George Diaz, and it will be Zhang Yang Chan. They can be our 2 security officers for the time being. And then we need some boarding desks near each stand adjacent to the terminal building and wait for them to be built. So they, I believe, are in here, boarding desks, right? And these are going to go pretty much lined up with these as much as we possibly can. Let's go for one there, I think is fine. One there, and one there should do the trick. Of course, that will require us building a couple more doors. So let's grab ourselves a few doors, and we can just have doors going straight out onto the airfield. We may have to go ahead and designate those to be secure zones as well, but we'll see once they actually get built. Can't wait to watch the vid. I can't wait to watch it either. Usually give the security area a wide berth because I know it will get jam-packed full eventually, but yeah, it'll work for now. We'll be fine. It looks like that did automatically turn into secure area, so that is fantastic. Alright, they are now done, and we just need to go ahead and say connect stand. That one's connected to there. This one is connected to there. This one is connected to there. And that is pretty much it. And now we just need to go on these and say this is now commercial flights. This is now commercial flights. Assigned aircraft exists in world. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Can we do this one? Yes, we can. Why can't we do this one? I don't have an answer for that question, but we should be able to connect this. That's connected to there. Let's close it. Commercial, open it. That seemed to fix it. Let's just close and open these two because they seem to be a little bit bugged out. Alright, we don't have an arrival runway connected, and we don't have a departure runway connected. Why is that the case? We have small aircraft, we need to turn on commercial flights for that runway, and that should fix that problem. We should now be able to sell tickets on some commercial flights. The new staff room looks really nice and clean, but it seems empty. Let's hire some friendly staff for your airport so that it'll be ready once the first passengers arrive. We need 4 passenger service agents. We can absolutely do that. Let's go in here and hire passenger service agents. Again, we're looking for the best ones that we can possibly find. That'll do. I'm going to reject the rest of these so that they restock. Security office, we already have 2, so we just need 2 more. And then we can reject the rest of those. We need 4 ramp agents, so let's go ahead and hire the best ones we can find in here. Most of these guys are bad, so I'm just going to let the game run for a second. It'll refresh that list, and we can hire better ones. Pause the game if you want to do this without it constantly jumping back and forth. That is done, and then we just need to wait for our staff to arrive via public transport. Now we can enable ramp agent service under operations. That is now on. And we are finally ready to accept the first commercial flight and greet some passengers. We need to sign a master contract with an airline. Then the airline will offer flights so that we can schedule them in our flight planner. So we need to go back into economy, offered contracts, and say airlines. And we are looking for the best quality airlines that we can find. It looks like that might be Maple and Nordic. Maple are offering $2,500 per flight. Nordic are offering $2,500 per flight. So let's go ahead and sign on with both of them. Why not? Okay, Air Village, same price. That is absolutely okay. Now we have F, and you can see this is our flight planner. And we actually have a couple of flights that we can already start to schedule. If we grab you, we can go ahead and say you can take off at some point. Maybe it needs to be tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is the earliest we can do. We're going to confirm that, schedule that for 5 a.m. tomorrow. Go back and look in here. No flights offered yet. Or we could just simply turn on the auto planner. But this requires some board members, a COO and a CIO. And I would like to go ahead and start recruiting some board members. So that is executives, is where we're looking for in here. It looks like we can't currently hire any. If we jump back into our operations and our R&D, we can start a new permit. And I'm curious whether or not that is actually in here. It doesn't seem like it is. But one thing that I would like is night flights. So let's go ahead and start researching that just to get that started. Perfect. All right. Now we sit back and wait for the scheduled flight and passengers to arrive and depart. You can view more details of your flights from the flight monitor shortcut G. That's fine. We only have the one there. Doesn't look like we have any more flights in here yet. And we don't have any flights in there. So there really isn't much we can do until tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to let the game run for a little bit as we speed this up. And I honestly don't know why we can't get oh, it's because I'm on the staff overview and not applicants. We absolutely can hire executives, and I think we absolutely should. Now, we are looking for the best that we can find. In terms of CFOs, neither of them are particularly good, so I'm going to reject both and we'll come back to that. CIO, Miguel Gonzalez here is pretty good, so we'll go ahead and take them. Reject the other one. COO, Robert Redu, is probably about as low as I would be willing to accept, but I am willing to accept it. HR, they're both terrible. Let's dismiss both of those. Procurement Director, Sharon will absolutely do for now. And Strategy Director, Ina can be hired. And reject that. The only thing I think was left was a CFO and anyone else. Let's have a look at our board. We still need a HR Director, which we do not currently have yet. So let's go back into applications and HR Director. Carlos, you are officially hired. Now, if we look at our executive committee, you can see we have a full team. Would I recommend hiring them all at the very start? Probably not. The reason is because they cost money. And they may not provide benefits that you're actually interested in yet. Let's just quickly go over what everyone does. So the COO enables auto repair of structures, which is very nice, reduces operation costs by 10%, and enables operation reports and lowers the risk of random accidents, which we actually have turned off anyway, so that is pretty much null and void. But auto repair and reducing operation costs is absolutely fantastic. Ina unlocks franchise R&D projects and increases R&D project research speed by 5% when present at the airport. Strategy Director honestly could probably be fired. We don't really need them right now, so that is something to keep in mind. Our Procurement Director reduces vehicle purchasing costs by 5%. Again, probably don't need her. I'm tempted to just fire both of these guys, honestly. HR unlocks the ability to set salaries, unlocks the ability to set shifts and working hours, reduce salary costs by 15%, and boosts employee productivity by 5% when present at the airport. That seems like a decent thing to have. The CIO enables that auto planning that I was talking about before, which is nice. They unlock technology projects, enable statistics panel, increase static project efficiency build up by 5% when present at the airport. Again, this is nice to have. And our CFO unlocks the ability to set the airport fees, reduce corporate tax by 25%, enables economy reports, and lower fine costs by 25% when present at the airport. So, honestly, Procurement Director and Strategy Director, probably just going to be fired, if I'm being completely honest. So, Strategy Director, sorry, and Procurement Director, sorry. We just have that the four of us, well, 5 of us if you include me, in our administration executive committee at the moment, and I think that is going to be absolutely fine. Now, we can train them up as well, but we are still running quite low on money. One thing that I do want to do, though, is turn on that auto planner so that our flights are automatically planned and, we can fill up the airport with some passengers. Now, we currently don't have any seating, any waiting areas, any toilets, anything like that, but we need to wait until we have a little bit more money. So we're going to jump back into a time lapse as our airport just runs in the background for a little bit. Love this type of game. I've struggled with Airport City a while back, but I think it's time to revisit it. I mean, you probably learn a lot while you're editing this, so. You're gonna have to figure it out a little bit. I was gonna say you're running very low on money, but of course you said it before. Sorry. I'm watching my money. We're good. We are still making money. And once we start getting flights coming in, that should be a lot better. We already have 2 scheduled, so that's good. We might have to consider taking on another airline contract at some point, but for now, I think we're fine. One thing I forgot to mention when I placed this fuel depot down, we can currently accept 30,000 liters of fuel. I would like to keep that as full as possible at all times. So I'm going to say resupply at 50% rather than at 10%, just so that we make sure that we don't run out. We'll make money eventually. I mean, that was a $28,000 hour, so that's not good. We may be just barely breaking even right now. Looks like we do have a couple of flights planned. We have passengers coming to the airport now, and we can zoom in and see, and they should slowly but surely come into the actual airport itself and go through all of the necessary security. That is passenger, I believe. They need the bathroom, which we currently don't have, which is not ideal. But they should eventually check in. Yeah, here we go. A couple of people checking in, making their way down to security. It's a long walk, but, you know, I want to utilize the space now so that I don't have to remove absolutely everything. And then they are just going to wait for their flight to show up. Unfortunately, we don't have any seating or anything for them, but hopefully they are satisfied enough that we can still make some money off of them. That's the plan. Our first plane has officially arrived. We have passengers departing. They should all give us a little bit of cash, I believe. And then they'll head out through security and either take public transport or a car, probably public transport. And you can see if I slow this down, as this airport plane lands, we should see a little money pop up as the passengers get off. There we go. A little bit of money coming in from them. And any minute now, we should see these guys getting onto this plane. You are not happy at all. You want to go to the toilet. You are very, very hungry and you have no energy. We need to sort that out sooner rather than later, for sure. But for now, I just want to see these guys get on the plane and leave. And there we go. We should start boarding any second now. They are now coming out. And this plane should be pretty much ready to go. I believe it just had 2 passengers. And we can go ahead and follow it with... not F4. There was a button. I can never remember what the button was. I also don't know what this is. Okay. Oh, there it goes. I know there's a button. Oh, there. There's the button. And then we can press F4. and follow this first plane with its passengers out of our airport. Success. Perfect. All right. Let's press F4 again to re-enable the UI. And we officially have a functional airport. And I think that is where I'm going to leave this very first episode of Airport CEO. If you have enjoyed it, please go ahead and make sure to leave a like and a comment on the video for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Go ahead and check out my editor's channel, Stefan Gaming. There'll be a link or something on screen or in the description. Go ahead and check that out. But until next time, happy building, happy flying. Bye, guys. All right, and should I end the stream here? No, we've only been live for an hour and 17 minutes. I'm going to take a quick 5-10 minute break, and then I will come back and we will continue on with the airport. But that is not the end of the stream. Hang around, there is more to come. I'm just going to take a quick little reset break. I'll be back in a sec. And actually, before I leave, I am going to leave the airport running. I hope that's not a mistake. Just to make sure that it's not, I will quickly just do a quick save. What did I call this airport? Bamboo Point 1. Save game. And then we'll leave this running, so hopefully when I come back we have a little bit more money to play with. So, I'll be back in a sec. I am back. What is happening, chat? Panda has a YouTube channel as well if you'd like to subscribe and watch edited video. I do. Thanks for checking us out over on Twitch as well, Stefan. I appreciate it. I don't think there's many people over on Twitch watching Airport CEO, but that is absolutely okay. Who plays this game a lot? That's a great question. I think there is a pretty cult following on this game, but I like it. Alright, it looks like the airport didn't burn down while we were waiting, and we now have $1.1 million. So that is fantastic. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Now we can do all of the things that we wanted to do before that we just couldn't afford. Perfect. All right. Let me have a quick little drink here, and then we'll get into the next episode. Who's ready? Ugh, I'm ready. I'm so ready. All right, we're going to do a quick little intro, and then we'll jump straight back into it. Just center this up nicely. Perfect. Hello, and welcome back to Bamboy. Nope. Let's try that again. Bamboy? No, that is not the name of the airport. Hello and welcome back to Bamboo Point Airport, and of course to Airport CEO. Now, I did leave the game running for about 10 to 15 minutes between episodes just so that we could build up a little bit of cash, and it looks like we have a pretty decent cash flow going at the moment. We have $1.16 million in the bank, and the game is telling us that bird strikes and emergency landings and medical emergencies are rare but do happen. That is actually a lie because we turned them off. So we can pretty safely ignore that. However, the R&D project emergency response units does need to be researched in order to continue with the tutorials. So I forgot to assign anyone to this. So we're going to unlock night flights quickly. And then once that is done, we will move on to the emergency response units. But I want to pause the game. Well, actually, we probably don't need. Well, let's pause the game. I need to address some things, right? Our passengers are not very happy at all. They have nowhere to sit. They have nowhere to go to the bathroom. They have nowhere to eat food. None of that. And that is definitely something that we need to address. The question is, where do we want to put those things, right? I think we should probably build out the waiting areas for our terminals first, or our gates, I should say, first, and then move on from there. So we're going to start with seating. We're probably going to go for these double rows. Our small aircraft will probably only require one of these each, if I'm being completely honest. The small aircraft really don't hold that many people, and yeah, there's just no real reason to go any bigger than this right now. I would like them to be somewhat even, so I'm going to leave a 2 gap on each of these and throw them down right about there. That should be seating pretty much dealt with for all of these passengers. Now, there are a couple of other things that we can do. We can do laptop tables, a long table with power outlets for recharging passengers' electronic devices. Something, yeah, we could probably throw a couple of those in. If we throw one in, I don't know, maybe we do. Actually, let's cancel that plan. Let's grab these large tables again. Hold control and we can demolish the things that we're currently holding. So let's grab those large ones, demolish all of those. I actually don't like that idea anymore. Let's grab the small seats and we'll place 2 of them down with a little bit of a 2 gap in the middle. I think that'll look nice. Maybe place a plant there or something. Something like so. And then we can go ahead and grab the laptop tables and place them down like so and like so. And that'll still give us plenty of seating, but it'll also give our passengers the opportunity to recharge their electronic devices. Now, I do believe that that is going to require actual seats for them to sit at, so we will go ahead and place all of those in as well, and then we'll just decorate this area out in a little bit of a time lapse. And then we can simply run the game and let them build all of that out. And with that done, our passengers should now be a little bit happier. You see this guy here, if we let time speed up a little bit, his energy is slowly going up as they wait for their flights in that location. Now, it's probably a good idea to build some kind of a bathroom. And since this terminal is probably going to expand up this way, I think it's probably a good idea to have a bathroom somewhat central over near this entrance. And I think that's exactly what I want to do. So we need to go into our bathroom here. We'll probably need to build some walls, but I like to plan out the interior of the bathroom first. So let's say bathroom can go maybe there, and we'll do like an 8x10. Should be more than enough for right now. Now, of course, we will need to go ahead and throw some walls in there, because if we don't have walls in the bathroom, that is just awkward. So in terms of walls, do I want to make it there, or do I... Yeah, let's go... I think that's big enough to be a bathroom. I think that is big enough to be a bathroom. Let's just double check that that did all stay bathroom. Perfect. Now we'll need to add some doors, and I generally like to use smaller doors for the bathrooms, but that is personal preference and you can do whatever you like. So let's go ahead and add 4 doors in there. Come into the bathroom, grab some toilets, and let's just line the inside walls like so and like so. That should be more than enough. I'm not going to bother putting urinals in. I don't think it's necessary. And then we can just basically line these back walls with sinks like so. Hand dryer on either side of those sinks. And we didn't really leave room for any plants or anything, but I think that's okay. We probably don't really need them. Then we can come in with a nice little flooring for the bathroom just to separate it out a little bit, right? And that should, in theory, be our bathroom all done and dusted, and everyone should have nice, easy access to that, which should be good. It also looks like security isn't yet being swarmed, so we don't have to worry about that, and we can just let them build that and get on with our day. This building style and gameplay reminds me of RimWorld, just without the war and risk of kidnapping. Yeah, 100%. Alright, night flights is officially complete. We can now accept flights during the hours of 2200 to 500, which is very, very nice. The next thing the game wants us to research is emergency response units, and I am going to do that because I would like the bonus that we get for doing the tutorial. So, emergency response units, we need at least 3 administrators to start this, so we'll go ahead and get that started, but we only currently have 2, so we're going to have to go back into our staff, look at our applications, and find some more administrators to hire. I generally find it's better to hire more than you need and just figure it out from there. And that should be okay. So once I can get out of this menu, please, we can go ahead and assign all 6 of them to that, and that should go by relatively quickly. I'm just going to let the game run as that happens, and we will come back from that point. One other thing that we can do while we wait for this to happen is actually connect our roads, because currently they aren't connected. And we can absolutely do that with service roads. We're just going to grab grass. These automatically have a little bit of service road on them, so we can just drag that down, drag this across, and they will now be connected. Eventually we'll unlock tunnels and we can hide this sort of thing, but for now that should be good. That will give us access to the main road so that if we ever do have refueling available on our commercial flights, we can go ahead and connect them. But while they're building this, we are still continuing on with that emergency response units research, and that should be good. One thing I am noticing is that we don't have any commercial flights at our airport currently. And the reason for that is potentially just because none was scheduled. And it looks like that may be the case. It looks like they're all starting here because we did only just unlock night flights. It looks like they won't start until tomorrow, but that is absolutely okay. As we check in here, we just want to make sure that we are actually full. And it looks like we have a little bit of capacity. These guys are currently at 36 out of 50 flights available. And these guys are at 28 out of 35. So potentially we could think about adding another stand as well. And since we have a little bit of money at the moment, we may as well go ahead and do exactly that. So I'm going to put that down right about there. Grab ourselves a taxiway, make sure that is connected up with both a taxiway and a path. And then we can go ahead and we should be able to just copy and paste everything from down here and place it in the exact same spot, hopefully. So right about there is where I want to say it is. And that lines up nicely. And then we just, of course, need to grab ourselves a door so that they can actually get out of our airport. And that is going to go right about there. Does this line up? It doesn't look like it lines up to me. I don't think they line up. Let me just... That lines up, but this doesn't look like... I'm just going to let them build it. No, that's definitely one too far back. Right? Let's just remove that for a second. Grab ourselves the gate, which is in here somewhere. Desks. Boarding desk. Regular boarding desk. And that should, in theory, go right about... Is it at the bottom or the top? Bottom. Right about there. It's weird that that didn't line up. I'm confused. Is that now too big of a gap? I think that's too big of a gap. I think I've messed something up here. That's 1, 2, 3. That's wrong. That is wrong. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of this as well. Now we can copy and paste the whole thing as one unit. So, building tools, copy and paste, and I want everything in here. Why do they not line up when I copy and paste them? I just copied that. And it's wrong. Like, it's saying it should be there. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Alright, well, instead, let's just grab our boarding desk, small. Make sure it lines up here. It's at the bottom. That can go there. And then we can grab our building tools, copy and paste mode, copy just this part, and that can sit there. Perfect. I don't understand how that happened, but it is what it is. So I guess that's fine. Let's let them build that, finish this R&D, and we should be able to go from there. Insatiable Fox, just popping in to say hi. I'll come back and watch the full VOD once you're finished. Love to see Airport CEO back for a little bit. Me too. Thanks for stopping in, saying hello. We need to open this up to... Okay, we need to close it first. It shouldn't be assigned to an aircraft because the only thing connected is this, and this doesn't allow general aviation. So that makes no sense to me, but that is okay. Please just let me close it. Oh, maybe I need this first. That's so strange that it won't let me do that. But we can go ahead and connect this stand to there. Close this. Open that. Open that. And that is officially another gate for our airport. Which should, in theory, help us make a little bit more money. Now the game really wants us to build an emergency response station. We don't technically need one. But I will go through the tutorial and build all of these things. And whether or not we keep them, it's highly dependent on how much room we have, right? So the question is, since we don't need them, we could, in theory, build them out here where they're not technically a part of our airport. And I kind of like the idea of doing that. So let's grab ourselves an emergency response station. That can live right about there, I think is fine. Let's grab our police station. That can live right about there. And then the only other thing that we just unlocked was what? Something. I don't know. That's fine. And then we can go in and bulldoze this part of the fence. Let's bulldoze that entire section. Grab ourselves the terminal fence and just re-fence this entire thing in so that it's technically part of our airport, but once we zoom out, we won't actually see it. And then from there, we can grab ourselves our infrastructure and transportation, grab ourselves a service road, and that will just go straight through the middle here. But of course, we need to wait for this fence to be deconstructed before we can actually complete that. With these now built, it is telling us to purchase an airport police car, a fire truck, and an ambulance. And again, I will go through this and absolutely do it. So we're going to buy one police car, one ambulance, and one fire truck, and just let them spawn in. From there, this is actually something that we do need. If an aircraft is damaged, it has to be repaired in a hangar. Build a hangar and connect it to a taxiway. Now, the question is, do we actually need it because we don't have any emergencies? I actually don't know that we do, but it's something we're going to build anyway. So we only have the small version available to us. And honestly, I think that can just live right down here. And we just simply go ahead and connect that up with taxiway and a taxiway path, and that should be more than enough to deal with whatever we've got going. Now, general aviation isn't going to be able to access that, but again, because we don't have emergencies turned on, that shouldn't really be a problem in theory. And with that complete, we now have from the runway upgrades panel, build a bird strike prevention system BSPS device. So we come in here, we say upgrades, and we can add bird strike prevention to this runway. Stefan has become a member. Panda Cub, thank you for joining as a Panda Cub. We very much appreciate it. And I think I'm going to just put these on the 1,000-foot marker. I think that's more than enough, especially considering we have emergencies turned off and we shouldn't actually need them at all. All right, next thing is patrols. Create a security officer patrol route inside of a terminal. Make the patrol route 4 nodes or longer, and we can absolutely do that. To do that, we come into security patrols, say security officer patrol, and I guess we just say, hey, you guys patrol from... Okay, I don't know where that's going, but that's fine. From there, is this a drag? No. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try that again. Security officer patrol from there to there, all the way down to the bottom of the terminal, and then to there, and then right back up. Just like that, and we can save that patrol. That is now complete. We'll now have a security officer patrolling inside of our secure zone. The game then wants us to create an airport police car patrol, and this is generally used to deal with animals, but because we're fully fenced in, animals really shouldn't be that much of a problem. However, I believe this is the part where we actually get our bonus. So if we just go patrol from there to there to there and back again, that should be more than enough to complete that. They're just gonna do circles. And then we can use delete a patrol route by choosing the X icon and delete one of the nodes. So we just click on that and that is now gone. When you're ready, you can expand your small regional airport and attract some higher rated airline contracts. We need you to build larger aircraft stands and make sure our runway can handle jets that will soon land. Since all commercial flights use the Jet A1 fuel type, we should build a Jet A1 fuel depot, just like we did with Avgas. And that is pretty much it. I believe if we check our mail, no. There it is. We did get the bonus at some point. That must have been while we were just idle. But we got our bonus. We really don't care about this tutorial anymore, so I'm just going to hide that and we will play the game however we see fit from here on out. The bonus is basically the only thing worth doing in the tutorial, so that is good that we now have that. In theory, we could delete all of these things, but I think it is actually good to have them. Just, you know, to boost our rating just that little bit higher. And I think that's fine. All right, so what is next, you may be asking? And I think next is going to be building out this side of the airport. We have this side up and running. It's making us some money, not a ton, but some. So I think I'd like to get this side of the airport built out. Before I do that, I think I would, however, like to get that Jet A1 fuel depot up and running on this side, because that will help us bring in a little bit more money as well. Also, our staff is currently flashing, and that is because we don't have any janitors in our airport at the moment, and that is a very important thing to have. So let's go ahead and look at our applicants and look for some janitors. I want to hire you. I want to hire you. You can be rejected. You can be rejected. Reject, reject, reject. And realistically, we're just looking for the best possible people we can find. And honestly, that should be more than enough janitors to get us started. You can see we have a surplus of everyone, and that is exactly what we are looking for. Perfect. All right. Our airport should now be a little bit cleaner, and we can start working on that Jet A1 fuel for our commercial flights. So that is in airport infrastructure. We now look at our fuel depots. We only have small Avgas 100LL, and that is because we need to research a whole bunch more stuff. So let's go into R&D. Emergency response units is complete. And what I would actually like to do first is program group 1. And this will actually, is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, this unlocks the R&D project group 2, which is, if I can get out of that screen for a second and come back here, that is this. Right, then we can have two things being researched at once. So program group 1 is exactly what I want to start researching next. We'll throw as many people on that as we can, and then we just wait for a little bit. And while we're waiting, I think I will go ahead and build out this side of the airport. At the very least, I want to build out the general aviation. Program Group 1 is now complete, and that will unlock Project Group 2, which is exactly what I was talking about before. That will unlock this slot so that we can research multiple things at the same time. We'll go ahead and throw all 6 administrators on that for the time being. And while we're at it, because we're about to need a whole bunch more, let's go ahead and hire a couple of more administrators to get this ball rolling just that little bit quicker. Honestly, administrators is the one thing where you can hire slightly worse people, but it's always good to get someone who is at least green. Even that is a little bit low, but you are perfect. We pause the game, we can go ahead and reject everyone that we don't want. Run the game again, it'll refresh, and we can hire a whole bunch more people. And that'll probably do us for the time being, because I don't know how many administrators we currently have, but I think it's more than enough. We have more than 2 pages, so yeah, that will do for now. Alright, with this done, we don't actually have any taxiways over here, so let me go ahead and fix that up real quick, and then we can get this side working with general aviation. And with the taxiways connected, we can now go ahead and say, I do not want any commercial flights on this, and open up that runway for general aviation. Now, these guys aren't going to have avgas, and the main reason is because everyone's coming in over here, and we don't actually have any facilities on this side. So I'm considering building another world entrance tunnel over this way and getting a separate network over here to deal with that. But I think we're going to wait until this is all built and we have a couple more research projects under our belt, because I would like to use some tunnels in order to get that done nice and neatly. Everything else seems to be running smoothly for the time being, so it's not a huge deal. If we check in on our R&D projects, Group 2 is officially complete, and now we can start getting other things. Floor construction permit is escalators, multiple, levels. That would be nice to have. Extended commercial license will give us a medium ATC tower, which will give us capabilities of handling more flights. Medium aircraft will give us medium aircraft. Jet A1 fuel is something that I absolutely want to get started as soon as possible, so let's get everyone working on that. And in Project Group 2, I think medium fuel depots is probably a decent choice. And that happens so quickly that we already have the option to get another one. And I think I will go for Program Group 2, just to get that started so that we can unlock the third one. And we should be able to breeze through all of this research relatively quickly. Proactive maintenance is probably the next thing that I'm going to do. That enables janitors and service technicians to maintain floors and broken objects before they become dirty or broken. So we'll start that, get as many people on that as we can. Program Group 2 is now finished, so we'll start working on Project Group 3. The program groups, what they do is they unlock the ability to have these programs down here. These can reduce project time, which is absolutely something that I want to do. You can have 5 people on any of these, but you can only have 2 from each thing. Otherwise, it won't work. So, in terms of things that we currently want, increased construction speed is probably one that we are definitely interested in, because we're going to be doing a lot of building. Upkeep cost reduction or salary cost reduction is probably what we're going to go for otherwise. These two might be the final things that we have once we've built a whole lot of our construction. But for right now, we don't have the administrators to do that. So let's go back into staff, look at our applicants, and go ahead and hire a whole bunch more people. And that'll probably do it for the moment. Back into R&D, we can go ahead and put 5 people on increased construction speed. And let's go for salary cost reduction at the moment, just while we have all of these administrators on our roster, right? And then I think the last thing that we probably want to get is staff productivity boost. And we can go ahead and put 5 on there as well. Project Group 3 is now unlocked, so we can now go ahead and unlock Program Group 3. That will unlock these. Proactive maintenance can go into probably baggage handling is probably a good thing to get. We're probably going to get like all of the things that we possibly can before moving on to other things. Then I think, what's structural engineering do? Concrete. That is absolutely something that I'm interested in getting. So we'll start that as well, and we'll put 5 administrators on that. With Program Group 3 done, we can go ahead and unlock Maverick fuel trucks to just make those a little bit more efficient. Structural engineering will go to the floor construction permit. And at this point, I'm probably just going to work my way through them, and we'll unlock every single one of the R&D projects nice and quickly so that we never have to worry about it again. And this is going to be a time lapse, so if you guys have any questions, concerns, feelings, or comments, I would love to hear them, and we can chat while I get this done. And while we are doing this, we also unlocked Group 3. And I think some of the best ones we can get here is the supplier discount. This will give us a discount on fuel specifically, but also food. So I think that's something that we definitely want to put our points into. And then, honestly, probably 5% increase to airline satisfaction is the other one that I want, because I find that airline satisfaction is one of the hardest things to get up. And it's good if we can just increase that a little bit. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I mean, the first airport CEO videos got me into this challenge. Will these be made into videos? They absolutely will. Thank you for stopping by the stream and checking it out. But yeah, they will absolutely be made into videos. My editor will see to it that that happens. I think I'll be playing this game soon. It looks very interesting. I'm going to learn a lot from your streams and videos. You definitely will, and I would love to see you play it. For those of you curious, Stefan is my video editor, and if you would like to go and subscribe to his channel as well, sounds like he might be playing Airport CEO very soon too. I will say, this is not how you're meant to play this game. You're supposed to unlock things one at a time, but I kind of prefer it being a little bit sandboxy so that I can just build my ultimate airport from the very beginning. So please do excuse me while we suffer through this. What will be a time lapse on YouTube. You guys have to sit through it, and I apologize for that. Hi, Willie Shepherd. Welcome to the stream. Lovely to have you. At the moment, we're currently just going through all of the R&D projects and getting pretty much everything unlocked so that we can start really playing the game. Now, in order to unlock the de-icing R&D, which honestly we probably will never actually use, one thing that we do need to do is build a weather station. So I'm just going to do that very quickly. Go ahead and grab a large weather station, and that could probably just mirror where this is over on this side, and that'll be absolutely fine. Like I said, we don't really need it, but it's something that I'd like to have in place just so that that works out nicely. Now, it looks like we have a shortage of fuel trucks for avgas. I imagine that's because these guys are over here. The 2 trucks should be able to handle this just fine. And yeah, we're just going to ignore that warning for the time being while we continue to complete all of these projects. Oh my lord, I came back to this game 2 days ago and started watching your old series for fun. Great timing. That is great timing. That is fantastic timing. What are the chances? Are you building anything fun at the moment? Or are you just building whatever you see fit? Any specific inspiration, I guess, is the question that I'm asking. Yearly rotation. Very nice, very nice. We do have a Discord channel on the Discord, _Discord if you want to join over there, where you can share your creations. So please go ahead and do that once you're at a point where you're happy with what it looks like. Anything that works, very nice. And we are very close to getting all of this R&D done. Is this airport going to be smaller to your, similar to your old airport, old Melbourne one, or just start new? This is a new start, and the general idea that I have behind this airport is that it's all going to fit on the screen in a full zoom out mode. This is going to be the final size of my airport. I have all of this room up here that I am just not going to use. Mostly because one of the most frustrating things I find about this game is the fact that nothing fits. Like, you can't zoom out to see the whole screen. I do have a couple of things over here, but they're not really part of the airport. So we're building a smaller regional airport is the general plan here. And it looks like we need to hire a strategy director in order to actually finish this research. So we're going to come in and quickly grab ourselves a strategy director, and honestly, we'll probably just keep them. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a procurement director as well, just so that we have a full team. Now that we are making a little bit of money, we can go back into R&D and say, please go ahead and start the final 2 projects. And that should, unless these unlock something else, should be absolutely everything that we need to get done in terms of research and development. And now we can actually start building anything and everything that we want. And I now have to try and figure out how this game works again, because it has been a minute. Hi, just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you for subscribing over on Twitch, checking the stream out over on Twitch. I really appreciate it. Might as well switch to the purple platform and sub. Absolutely. If you can, and you have a free Prime available, I very much appreciate it. That is absolutely fantastic. And with that, oh, we actually do have one more research project, Quality Kitchen Restaurants, and I think this is the final one. We'll go ahead and throw all of our administrators onto that. That should be done very, very soon. This is on the one lower than extreme. I believe it's hard. We started with 1 million, but I did turn on sandbox and we disabled emergency events because I don't like them. That's about all we disabled. We're still running with everything else though. Videos will come out of this game as well. Yeah. Yeah. We will have videos on it. These will be edited down into videos by the lovely Stefan Gaming. who is also planning on playing this game. So check out their channel if you're in the mood. Emergencies are useless. Absolutely. They're just micromanagement, and I'm not here for it. So I turned it off. All right, and that is all of the projects officially done. Now, there are two very important things that we need to do at this point. One of them is just get rid of this. Reduce project time is now utterly useless. So we can turn that off, right? And we can change it to either passenger satisfaction boost or marketing. And I think I'm actually going to do both, because staff productivity boost is kind of nice. We've currently got a 47% increase to staff skill. Okay, I'll keep that. I will keep that. Marketing, 5% increased passenger spending at food and shop franchises. Also attracts visitors to the airport. I'm not a super fan of that. I don't really like the food and shop franchises mechanic in this game. So instead, I'm going to go for the passenger satisfaction boost. Keep everyone nice and happy. Any others that we could potentially get rid of? We could potentially go ahead and say, get rid of the salary cost reduction. We're currently reducing it by 23%. That is going to be outweighed by our upkeep at some point very soon. So I'm actually going to reduce that and switch that over to upkeep. And the reason that I want to do that is because we now only need 10, 20, 30 administrators, right? And we currently have more than that. This is 15, so we only need 2 full pages of these guys. And that is absolutely enough. Now, if we go ahead and filter by skill level and reduce it down to our lowest, administrators, we can then go in and fire them. Whoop. That was probably more than I wanted to fire, but that's okay. Let's reduce that down a little bit. Fire, 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 fire. I wish you could sort by skill, but unfortunately that's not a thing. And we still have 5 pages, so we definitely need to fire a couple more people. Let's go ahead and fire like all of them. And then we still have 4 pages, so let's go ahead and fire some more. Fire, fire. Now we're specifically looking for the bad ones. I don't know why sometimes it shows me better ones than I've currently selected, but that is now 2 pages and we need 2 more people. So that's okay. We overfired a little bit, but we can go back into our administrators here. Pause the game again. Reject all of these terrible ones. Unpause, repause, hire you, reject the rest, unpause and hire you, and reject the rest. And that should, in theory, be 30 administrators that are all quite well trained. And what we can do is we can actually train all staff so that these guys are even better. And I'm absolutely going to do that. That's going to cost us 80 grand. Train all staff, train all staff, train all staff, train all staff, train all staff. All right, now our administrators should be so very good. Assuming that we still have some, because I now no longer see any. And it's telling me that I only have 2 janitors. I guess this is just because they can't be trained anymore. If I train you, yeah, you're max trained, you're max trained. Where did all my administrators go? Where did they all go? Shifts? Maybe they're not here right now because it's nighttime. Let's just resume the game. Go to all. We currently have none. Is that because the filter did weird things? I genuinely don't understand where all my staff went. If we have a look down here, we still do have the staff. They're just not listed in our staff, which is slightly concerning, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We also have a red check mark. Service vehicle can't reach their designated job site. That is because this is not currently connected. That is okay for the moment. We can deal with that a little bit later on. I'll leave the game paused for a moment and just jump quickly back into my staff and see if I can't get them all to come back. It doesn't look like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the game, bamboo point 1.5, save that, and then we can quickly load that back in, and hopefully that fixes it. All research completed before year 1 end. Yeah. I sure do. Okay, and it's giving me the introduction again, which is concerning. Let's just skip through that. H, and get rid of that. And let's have a look at our staff. It's still saying that we have 0 staff. Staff happiness is 56%. Train all staff are fully trained. But it's just not showing me that they are there. So let's run the game for a little bit. And let's turn that to silent mode. And see if they come back during the daytime. I hope that they do. Alright, it's about 7 AM. I don't know what time staff come in. Like, we clearly have staff in the staff room. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm just concerned about the fact that I couldn't fire them if I wanted to. Which I don't. I need 30 administrators anyway. But, like, what do you mean? They're just not there. They're just not there at all. William the Asian, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch, or following over on Twitch, I should say. Yeah, I'm confused. Let's go for an administrator. Let's hire one. And yeah, they're there. I don't need you. Let's just fire them and call it good. Because we clearly have 55 staff. I just did a reload. It didn't fix anything. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We have staff. I don't know what's happening. We'll call that good though. We'll call that good. All our staff are fully trained, maxed out. That is exactly what we want. Now it is time to connect up this side of the airport to this side of the airport. And the question is, how do we want to do that? That is going to be infrastructure and transportation. And I would like a service road tunnel down. And I basically just want this to line up with this road here and go somewhere like so. I believe that is the correct way to go. Go somewhere like so. And then we should be able to hit page down, see that road, grab ourselves a service road. I'm still going to just make this grass for the time being. Come back up and we connect that to there, that all the way over to there. And that should be absolutely fantastic. That can connect back up to there as well. And then we just need to get ourselves a fuel depot and a parking lot over on this side. Now, the question is, do we want to increase the size of this? I think the answer is yes. So I'm going to go into my operations for the time being, turn off avgas, and then simply demolish this and this. Now, we're going to have 2 vehicles that don't have anywhere to park, but I'm okay with that for the time being. Do you have a filter or something? I don't think I did. Staff. I'm filtering by administrator, but even when I filter by all, they're just not there. This is fully maxed out. That is fully maxed out. All staff are fully trained. Staff happiness, I don't know. Alright, with those gone, we can now come into aircraft infrastructure, grab ourselves a fuel depot, and I would like a medium avgas to go right about there. I would like a vehicle depot to go right about there, and then we have a little bit of room in the middle if we want anything else. For instance, we could potentially put a fuel tank in there, but it doesn't actually fit. So that is the plan for that for right now. And we are going to mirror that on the other side. So we want a medium avgas over here that is going to live right about there. Grab ourselves a vehicle depot. There's going to be a 2 wide gap just so that they are symmetrical. And we can grab our service road and connect those up just like so. Now, the other thing that we need to worry about is vehicles, because we have 2 fuel truck avgas. They're not particularly good, right? I'm going to sell both of those because we now have much better options. I would like fuel trucks, and I would like, okay, that unselected fuel trucks. Let's unselect everything and just go for fuel. And this is what we currently have, right? We have Maverick trailers for Jet A1. We have Maverick trailers for avgas. These are the best ones, but they are rather expensive. I don't think we need those for our general aviation, to be perfectly honest with you. They cost us $150 an hour plus an initial $3,000, and that just seems a little bit much. So I think I will stick with the Fjord trailer trucks for avgas. I'm going to get 4 of those. You can have 2 on either side. We need a vehicle checkpoint and a vehicle depot. Okay, so we need to wait for our depots to be built. So we're just going to let the game run for a little bit while they build all of that up. One thing that we could probably do to increase our work efficiency is come back into construction and deploy the remaining 37 contractors that we currently haven't got deployed. And we can even potentially look at our contractors and see what we can do here. These guys are offering 141 for $4 each. That is much better than the current one that we have available to us. So let's go into our accepted contracts. Brickley is our contract. We have 118 for $5.20. That is no longer a good deal, so I'm going to cancel that. Never mind. I'm going to go into my operations, dismiss all of my contractors, go back to economy, cancel that contract, go to my active contracts, and choose Blue Build Construction Limited and get this 141 for $4 an hour. That seems like a much better deal to me. Then we can go back into construction, deploy all 141, and that should significantly increase the amount of construction we can do in a short amount of time. Plus, we also have the R&D project, or R&D program, I should say, that increased construction speed. We currently have a 21% increase on that. So that is very, very nice. All right, looks like this is now full, or now built. As soon as this unlocks, we can go ahead and move this up to resupply at 50% rather than resupplying at 10%. And we should now be able to go into our vehicles and choose to buy 4 Fjord trailer trucks, which is fantastic. With that done, we can come back in here. Once we get a delivery in here, we should be able to get that filled out. While we're waiting though, it probably would behoove us to have a look at our aviation fuel supplier. AV Fuel is currently offering $129 a litre and they can deliver 400,000. If we have a look at offered contracts, we now have these guys, which is 105, and they can deliver twice as much. Or we have this, which is 80 cents per litre, and they can deliver twice as much as well. I would very much like to sign that, but of course we do have to cancel the one we currently have. So let's cancel that, go back into our offered contracts, and Fuel and Go, you are now our official supplier of fuel. And we can raise both of these depots back up to 50% as soon as this gets a delivery, and that should be absolutely fantastic. It would be nice if you could have multiple building contracts at once. I agree. And we're finally getting that delivery, which means once that delivery is finished, we should be allowed to adjust this slider. Give it a second. Takes a minute to fill up these tanks. They're quite large. And there we go. We can now resupply at 50%, and all of our general aviation should have fuel. We just need to go back into our operations here and turn on that avgas 100 LL fuel service again. The only other thing that I want to do is assign 2 of these trucks to the depots, right? So that is those guys over there. You're going over there, assign and assign. And I think I would like to actually rename these depots as well. So this will be left depot, and this will be right depot. Right, and then once we come in back in here, you can see we've got 2 assigned to left and 2 assigned to right, and that should be absolutely fantastic. Everyone should have fuel again, and we can continue building this out with a couple more stands just to bring in that little bit of extra cash. So let's go back in, grab our grass stands, and we can just build them the right way around. Would be fantastic. There. Oh, are they grass? Yeah, they're grass. I got concerned there for a second. I thought they were concrete. There and there. And then we just need to connect all of that up with a service road. Just like... Nope, they're already connected. We need to connect them up with a taxiway. Is what I meant to say. Taxiway foundation. And that's just going to go from the stand. Nope, that's not what I wanted, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. Grab ourselves our taxiway paths and make sure they are connected up. Just like so. And that will increase our general aviation by another quarter, which in turn should make us a little bit more money, which is a very good thing because we are running low on funds at the moment, and I'm hoping that we are still actually making money. I hope. We'll let the game run for a little bit and judge that for a little bit. We're currently at $135,000. If you guys could remember that for me, that would be fantastic. The game had so much potential if the devs kept working on it, like for an example, underground fuel depots. Such a common thing at airports and would have been a great addition. Oh, there's so many things that they could have added to make this game even better. It is a shame they stopped development on it, but it is still a good game in of itself. So I'm happy to play it as is. The only thing I wish someone would mod in is the fact that you can't zoom out further than this. I really want to be able to zoom out and see my entire airport. That is one thing that I really wish did exist in the game. I just want to quickly check my flight planner and see how we're doing. Flight capacity is currently at 25 out of 25. That is because our ATC tower is not big enough. You can see we have gained like 15 grand, so that's good, but I want to leave it run until like tomorrow morning, just because we do have ebbs and flows in our cash flow, and I want to make sure that we are actually positive at the moment before we go too much further, because we may have to adjust our strategy if we are. Especially when you use modded airport sizes, yeah, 100%. Alright, so we'll go until tomorrow when we get the economy report, and that should tell us for sure whether or not we're actually making money. In terms of our satisfaction at the moment, we're doing okay, about 80%. We're lacking on a couple of things. We're lacking on general aviation infrastructure quality. It's just because everything is currently grass because we're broke. Airline infrastructure quality, again, exactly the same thing. Baggage loaded on aircraft and baggage reaching passenger is low because we haven't set up any baggage claim yet. We also don't have any services available to passengers, which is not a generally good thing. And our security is lacking a little bit because we're not scanning any of that baggage. But that is absolutely okay. One thing that I do want to build quickly that we can do very, very easily is... where does that exist? I want to grab airline lounges. No. Restaurants and food. I know for a fact that there are... Where does it exist? I know for a fact that there are vending machines in this game. Is it in terminal? Yes. Yes, there it is. I just want to add a couple of vending machines near my gates so that we can, you know, feed and drink our passengers a little bit, because currently we don't have anything. So that was drinks, I believe. Let's get a food one in there as well. And then we can simply go into our building tools and say, copy paste mode, grab that and throw that at every gate, just so everyone definitely has something to eat or drink. And the only other thing that I definitely want to add is a trash can right next to those to make sure that we are keeping the airport as clean as we possibly can. This will probably all change a little bit as we move on with the playthrough. These will get a little bit more big, a little bit more extravagant, but for the moment, the airport seems to be running well. We did just spend a little bit of money as well. I said that I was going to let it run, so I'm just going to leave the game to run until tomorrow morning when we get that economy report. The good news is we are over $135,000, so we didn't lose too much money doing that. Alright, I said I was going to let it run, but we are clearly making money at this point, and I am happy enough with that. I think the next thing that I want to do is expand this to have one more stand on it. But before we do that, we are actually at our limit with this ATC tower. So, let's go ahead and fix that, and that will be in aircraft infrastructure, I believe. And we can go ahead and grab ourselves a large tower. Now, unfortunately, this building does not... It's not an even number, which means I can't put it right in the middle of my airport. Let's go ahead and have a look at how big a medium runway is going to be in planning mode. We do this with concrete. Well, that's frustrating. I mean, we could put it all the way up here, but then we won't be able to get onto it. We rotate this. I think this is actually too big. Yeah, 100%. Okay, we may have to move our runways in a little bit. Well, that's unfortunate. We might be able to just barely get away with putting this here. Oh, that's so annoying. That is so very frustrating. We could... I was going to say we could put it in the middle, but we can't even do that. It's also not an even amount of squares. So this is never going to be centered. If we... it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It technically fits, but it's not going to look good. Okay. Change of plans. Let's ditch this side of the airport. Make this airport a little bit asymmetrical. I think remove the general aviation from this side. Have this be the passenger runway. Potentially move it all the way off to the side there. and just have general aviation on this side. Otherwise, we're not going to have any room. And I know I could come out here, but I really want to be able to see my entire airport. That was like the whole point of this. All right, well, that's very frustrating. Let's get rid of all of this. That's going to be deconstructed. Let's get rid of the terminal. That can move. And then I guess we just get rid of this. I mean, I guess we don't have to do that yet. We could potentially do that later on. If we come in with our medium runway again, and we have a look. I really would like a 5 gap between that. So that would be 2, 3, 4, 5. It would have to sit there. And that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I want it right there is where I want it. And I cannot build it there. I could potentially go there and expand the top by 1 block. Just because, you know, we do have a little bit of room and I still would be able to see the entire thing. So I think that is what I'm going to do. This is just a plan for the moment. This will eventually move over here a little bit further so that it's a little bit nicer. We're going to have a slightly asymmetrical airport and I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with it. I don't love it, but I think I'm okay with it. Let's grab ourselves concrete, put that up right there. That's going to be our new border. Let's go ahead and bulldoze this section. Like so. And then we can just simply move our fence up by 1. And I'm okay with that. Fence is going to come from there all the way across to there. Oh, that's 1 too far. And down. If we hold control, we can just simply get rid of that. And then we'll grab the bulldozer. And I'll bulldoze that after the fact because there is a sneaky little cow in here that I don't actually want to be inside my airport. So I'll let them build that. As you can see, if we line this up right, yeah, you can still see the entire airport. I'm happy with that. I think that is okay. Did I deploy all my contractors again? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. Cool. So we're just waiting for them to build that now. And we didn't even rate on the airport of the year, but that's okay. Eventually we might. We currently only have a rating of 81%, which, if I have a look at that, we should be here. I guess our average rating for the year wasn't that high, but we should be on that list. Why aren't our contractors doing the things? Oh, is that because it's in planning mode? I'm so silly. Alright. Building tools. Build planned objects. Please actually go ahead and build the fence that I want. That's 100% my bad. I will take ownership of that. Please go ahead and build that entire fence. But don't build the concrete around it. I don't necessarily want that right now. And that should be okay. Now they'll go ahead and build that. We're just currently paying our contractors $4 an hour for absolutely nothing. That's my bad. And there they go. Look at them all. 140 something contractors to build a single fence. I mean, they're very efficient. Very efficient. Some of them may be trapped, but we will release them in a second once we demolish this side. Let's actually get that set up now. Go ahead and select from there, zoom all the way out and try and get over here as quick as we can. And then we should be able to just demolish that side of the fence to expand our airport by 1 tile to make sure that this is actually 5 off the border, which is exactly where I want it to be. And they've left quite a mess with all their boxes, but that is okay. And there is going to be a cow in our airport. Hopefully they don't get in the way of too many jet engines. Alright, with that all being said and done, we got a lot done today. We got all of the R&D done before the end of year 1. We have a plan to bring in some medium aircraft. It did unfortunately mean that we have to ditch the general aviation. That is going to be the first thing that I try and do in the next episode. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like and a comment for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Consider becoming a member of the channel if you'd like early access to all of the videos. But until next time, happy building, happy flying. Bye, guys. And that is where I'm going to end the stream as well. We've been streaming for what, like 3 hours-ish? That's a decent time. Yeah, almost 3 hours. It should be a nice 2 episodes. They will be coming out on YouTube at some point. I am very busy. I don't think I'll be streaming next week on Saturday. It'll probably be another Monday stream if I stream at all. We are heading to Melbourne for the weekend to go to the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So if you're there and you somehow recognize my voice because you don't know what I look like, feel free to say hi. I doubt any of you will be there, but you know, if you are, I will also be there. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. I had a lot of fun playing this. We probably will come back and play Airport CEO again next stream, and then we'll just alternate between Stardew and this. I just want to get a little bit of a rolling start on the Airport CEO series. So that is the plan there. Hi, thanks for coming by. Love this game as well. It is a fantastic game. But without further ado, that is where I'm going to call it for today. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for building an airport with me. Until next time, happy building, happy flying. Bye, guys.